What's up, tribe? How you guys doing? Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I hope you like this video. This is your review for the Cartel Crew Season 3, Episode 3. So we start this episode off. We pick it up with Michael and Marie arguing over the prenup, and a couple of really interesting things came out in this argument about the prenup. So first of all, Marie was like, listen, let me see this prenup. Let me see the prenup. Because remember what her friends had told her down to the bridal shop. Listen, see what the prenup says, and then you'll see how he really feels about you. So the prenup ain't even the problem as much as what is the prenup going to say. That's the problem. Or that's the concern. Mike was like, oh, well, we'll get the prenup, we'll get it 7 days, before the wedding. And she was like, what you mean 7 days before the wedding? She was like, so this about to be a negotiation? He was like, it's business. It's always been business. And she was like, well, what the hell are you talking about, some business? She said, Michael, we're not playing those kinds of games. She said, and then they got to arguing, and she said something about, what would your mother say, or your mother would, and he was like, what are you talking about? If my mother was handling this, if my mother was still alive, she would put a gun to your head and make you sign it. Marie was like, do what? Oh, so now your mother will put a gun to my head? Now listen, from everything I've ever heard about his mama, he probably ain't lying. And Marie, you know he ain't lying. But I get it. You mad, you in your feelings, you drunk. Okay? So if you took it however you took it. She said, Michael, everything I gave up for you. She said, I gave up my family for you. This mofo gonna say, well, that was then and this is now. Do what? Like Marie lost her whole family behind dating Michael. Like Marie almost went to jail behind dating Michael. Remember the end of season 1? She got into a physical altercation with her family because she went over to the house. Now she was drunk when she went over to the house, but got into a physical altercation, I want to say, with her mom, and they called the police, and her ass went to jail. Y'all remember that, girl? So then they gonna say, she said, well, I busted my butt for Pure Blanco. And he was like, yeah, she said, I was behind you every step of the way. He was like, yeah, that was your position, behind me. She was like, what? She said, if it wasn't for me, I was the one that pushed you. I was the one that made you, keep going and pushed you to keep going. Like, that was me. I did that. He was like, okay. She was like, admit it. Admit that I was the one that made the company successful. Admit that I was the one that pushed you to keep going and to keep working and to hustle. He was like, fine, I'll admit it. What you want? He said, put a number on it, Marie. Put a number on it. Baby, she said, oh, so is that what you're talking about now? And then he said something about the, something to the effect of, she said, so that's with your first wife? And he was like, yeah, that's what happened with my first wife. She was like, well, that's why your ass is divorced now. She said, and then Magic, that's why Magic is in the situation he's in now. I guess she was saying he's divorced too. And Michael was like, don't bring Magic's name into this. Don't bring that man's business into this. That's his personal business. She said, but he in my personal business. He has inserted himself in my business. So then Michael said something about, that man posted $1 million bond for me. I owe him. So, I feel like that argument crossed over the cameras, because at one point she even said, I don't care about them cameras here. And this is how petty the cameras are. They're going to pan over and show you the cameras and then pan back. We know the cameras are there. It's a reality show. Anyway, child. Anyway, so, child. So, Michael ends up leaving, which I think was probably the best decision he could have made, because it was getting heated. Marie was intoxicated, and she was starting to kind of get in his face and get a little borderline physical. So I feel like he made the best decision he could make, which was to get up out of that and remove himself from it. So he comes back the next day. He said, listen, I went and stayed at the hotel last night. He comes back the next day, zippity doo dah, hey baby, I'm home. Which tells me two things. Either A, you were really doing it up for the cameras and you thought Marie wasn't going to act a fool because the cameras was with you. Or 2, I said A. Okay, B, this is what y'all do. Y'all do this all the time. This is y'all normal, everyday, malfunctioning situation. Y'all argue. It gets really, really, really bad. You leave or she leaves and then y'all come back. Well, he came back looking for her. She won't there. Baby, she done left him a dead job letter and his ring. And told him that, she's not cool with the situation. If she's not happy about it, her heart is broken. And she done took her and the baby. And she got to think about some things. Now, she never said the wedding was off. She just said she got to think about some things. And then he going to say, and she just left my mama ring laying there like it was nothing. The same mama that was going to put a gun in her hand. That mama? Anyway. So, Eddie's in the gym with Magic, coincidentally with Magic. And he's saying how, he wants to go talk to his attorney about getting off probation early. He said, he's in this new relationship and, he just feels stifled by the probation, And we know that the probation is a setup. We know probation is a setup. Every little thing you do, there's so many stipulations and so many rules that you make one little mistake and you back in jail for 2 years or whatever the situation might be. I remember seeing something. I don't remember what it was, y'all, because I look at a lot of true crime, so I don't remember what it was. But all I remember was the person got sentenced to like 2 years in jail and like 90 years probation. I was like, how does that even make sense? First of all, the fact that they only serving 2 years in jail but 90 years on probation tells me that they probably should be in jail longer. Second of all, how the hell you just gonna be on? How you just gonna be on probation for 90 years? And I know for some people they're like, but probation, at least they not in jail. Yeah, but again, depending on who your PO officer is and the stipulation of your parole, like some people can't. Like in Eddie's case, he can't leave the Tri-County area. He said he would have to get permission to take his family to Disney World. He live in Miami. Orlando is only a couple of hours drive from Miami. I've done it. I've driven from Miami to Orlando, and I don't remember the exact amount, but I know it's only a couple of hours. Okay, it's not that long. And so it may not seem like oh, it's better to be on probation than to be in jail, but that's a lot to have to ask every single time you want to go on vacation or want to take a weekend getaway. You can't leave the Tri-County area. That's probably a 20, 30-mile radius that he can't leave without permission. And let's not forget about who he can affiliate with, whether he can have alcohol or not. Anyway, it's a lot. So we see him going and talking to his lawyer. And this is clearly the lawyer that handled his case. Because he was like, I thought I wasn't going to have to see you again, but I got one last thing that I want you to help me with. And his lawyer tells him, listen, I take your money and everything, and I'm going to go ahead and file this paperwork. But, sir, it's a slim to none chance that you get granted. And remember how surprising it was that Michael got it last year. His lawyer was like, this probably ain't going to work. It probably ain't going to work. It probably going to work. Oh, shit, it worked? Like, that's like, what? It worked? Oh, okay. They use the same judge that sentenced you. So the reality is it's the same judge that sentenced your ass to jail. The likelihood that they're going to renege on what they said, and like his lawyer said, they don't see you. They see paperwork. They don't see you as people. They see you as cases. And all they're going to do is review the case and review the paperwork. And Eddie even said in his conversation with Magic that, he feels guilty every time he thinks about all the stuff he used to do and how dirty he really was. And he even said something about, I remember, I would get in the car, roll out with my homies, and I'd just be thinking about how I could put one in somebody's neck. So that's probably not what you need to be saying on TV when you're trying to get off parole. Granted, you've already been convicted and served time. I get all of that. But that's just not the kind of stuff you want to remind judges of. You just don't, that's probably not the best. That probably wasn't the best thing to say. Remind the judge of what you did. Anyway, honey, Marita went over to Nicole's house. Her and her brother live together. They're twins and they live together. And Nicole was like, girl, you can stay here however long you need to stay here, but you need to make a decision. Like, because Michael, of course, is blowing her phone up and trying to get in touch with her, and she ain't answering the phone. And Nicole was like, listen, I'm all here for being mad at Michael. I'm even here for teaching Michael a lesson. But at a certain point, you got to make up your mind. Like, are you going to call the wedding off? If you're not going to call the wedding off or you don't know how you feel, then you need to go talk to him. Like, you really need to go talk to him. And I said, come on the call with the words of wisdom, giving Marie some good advice. Because she right. I mean, you live with this man. You engaged to be married. You got a baby with this man. I get being mad. And I ain't saying that she wrong for being mad, but at a certain point you got to go and talk to him. Now I probably would make him sweat for a day or two, but at a certain point you got to go talk to him. Now Diana and her boyfriend, we got a little bit more information about Diana and her boyfriend. Now remember, Diana was starting a music label, and so she got the boyfriend in charge of helping her set up the studio. And she said, he does music and all this other stuff. She said, and realistically, I'm basically paying for everything because he don't have no damn money. She said, when I first met him, he lied to me and, he was really out there in that street life. And I let him know that, one, I'm not doing that again. I'm not. I've been there. I've done that. I got, the passport and the felony on my record to prove. I'm not going through that again. So I don't want to be with somebody who was out there in the streets living that life. I just can't do it. And two, it's a dead end for you. Me and my husband, we had so much money, we didn't even know what to do with it. But look at where we are now. He's in jail for however long. He's going to spend the rest of, however many more years in jail. I'm out of jail, but I, was away from my kids for however many years. Like, it's just a dead end. You're 24, 21, you're 25 years old. So you really have a lot, ahead of you. You got a lot of time ahead of you. You don't need to waste it on this. So then, I'm sorry. So then, she's telling him about what happened with Stephanie at the bridal shop, as far as Stephanie coming at her about Eddie, and she was like, she trying to make it seem like I'm trying to sleep with Eddie or something, but it's not even that serious. Like, at the end of the day, Eddie's my friend. I met Eddie and Stephanie around the same time. So when they broke up, yeah, okay, but I'm cool with Eddie. And she said, as far as Eddie coming to my events, I would post them and he would show up. It's not like I sent him a written invitation, here, please come. It was, I put it up on my social media or I posted it, whatever, and he showed up to support me. Like, they didn't come to support me. So I don't feel like I owe any type of allegiance to that, to Stephanie, damn sure not Stephanie. So she decided that she's going to have a baby shower to introduce him, the boyfriend, to the friend group. On one hand, it's cute. On the other hand, it's not. Girl, the what? Like, she had a whole baby shower. Girl. So she decided, at first she was going to invite Stephanie, and then she changed her mind and was like, nah, I don't want to invite Stephanie, but she did invite Kat, she invited Eddie, Magic. I'm going to assume she invited Marie and Michael, but Marie and Michael was dealing with their own stuff, and so I guess they didn't show up. Honey, we'll get back to Marie and Michael in a second. Betty came. So we're there, and they bought baby shower gifts and everything because they really think Diana is pregnant. Now, mind you, Diana's stomach is flat as hell, and she opened up, she answered the door with this flat stomach, and they're kind of, and I'm sure at that point they were kind of like, what the hell? And they were like, well, who's the daddy? And she was like, I don't know. And so she finally told them what it was. They were like, but we bought gifts. Like, we bought gifts for a baby. We bought gifts. She said, well, I hope y'all have the receipt. Child. So Eddie shows up. Like I said, Kat shows up. So Eddie pulls Kat aside to talk to her. He says, I just want to thank you. I really want to let you know that I appreciate the fact that, what you did, that you talked to my girl and you were really gracious and, y'all had a good conversation, and I'm glad that me and you were in a better place. And, I really, really want you to find somebody and be happy. Like, you really are a good woman. We just weren't meant to be. We just weren't, We just weren't a right fit, but you are a good woman. So then she said something along the lines of, she was gonna say something along the lines of, yeah, man that won't make a documentary. He was like, that documentary really got you upset. Like, I'm not understanding why that documentary got you so mad, girl. So, Diana did, before Kat got there, Diana did let Eddie know what happened down to the bridal shop in reference to Stephanie coming for him. And Eddie is like, I'm not understanding. Like, I'm not with Kat anymore. Why does she still care or give a damn about what I got going on? Like, why does it matter? Why does she care who I'm spending time with and who I'm hanging out with? Like, that is not her business. And so, you know, of course, that was the whole thing. So Stephanie ends up showing up talking about, so I had to hear about the baby shower in the street. And Diana is sitting there like, well, I mean, the last time, I love Diana because she's just straightforward. Diana was like, well, you know, the last time we saw each other, you know, you was accusing me of sleeping with Eddie. So, you know, I just didn't think it was a good idea for you to be here. And Stephanie was like, well, I mean, we just had a disagreement, but, you know, we're over it now. We're letting bygones be bygones. I don't feel like Diana was letting bygones be bygones. Like, I don't. So then, of course, Eddie is sitting there like, here we go. Here goes Stephanie. Why the hell Stephanie here? Who invited Stephanie? I don't remember inviting Stephanie. I don't know why she here. And, so Eddie basically approaches Stephanie and lets Stephanie know that he doesn't appreciate the fact that she's talking about him. You know, basically, keep my name out your mouth. I don't have nothing to do with it. He don't have nothing to do with it. Leave us alone. Leave me out of it. And Stephanie was just like, well, that's my friend, and I'm here to defend my friend. And when you weren't around, I was there for her. And he was like, yeah, you know, you and my son, like, I appreciate the fact that my son has a good relationship with you. I appreciate the fact that you and my son are cool or whatever. But, you know, and then he said something about birthdays and stuff like that. And she was like, Stephanie was like, fine, then I won't be there when it's birthdays. I won't be there when it's birthdays. And here go that damn cat, always trying to find the middle, talking about, well, he really loves his TT, and he wants his TT and his daddy to be there. So y'all are going to have to just figure out a way to get along and be cool with each other. Like, y'all just going to have to figure out a way. And he was like, listen, Stephanie, if you don't find a way to stop talking shit about me, then I am going to have a problem with you being around my son, even when I'm not there. Because I don't appreciate, because I don't want my son to overhear you having something to say about me. And I don't blame him. Like, Stephanie, you do the most. You do too much. And I get it that Kat is your friend, but Kat is a grown-ass woman. Kat is a whole business owner with a kid of her own. Kat, if she can speak up for herself. And I don't blame Eddie. Because what you don't want is a situation where your child is around somebody that is talking about you, whether she's doing it directly in front of him or not. You don't even want it to be a situation where he happens to overhear it. You know, he's getting older. He understands. We saw in the first episode how he's picking up on the energy between the two of them. So, that was pretty much that, child. I don't feel like there was no, other than Eddie putting his foot down and letting her know, if you don't figure out a way to get it together, then I'm going to figure out a way to get it together, okay? Marie finally goes home, and her and Michael have a conversation. Now, listen, I'm going to call bullshit on this conversation, because Michael turned this whole prenup thing into, you know, I just, you know, for me, it's just, you know, it's just a piece of paper to make sure you won't leave me, because everybody's left me, you know, when everybody's always left me, and they and left me high and dry, and you know, and maybe if I had a piece of paper with you, you wouldn't leave me because I love you and I don't want to think about you leaving me. Bullshit, Michael. You got that prenup because Magic punked you into getting a damn prenup. It don't have nothing to do with you being scared about somebody leaving you. Because let's be clear, a prenup ain't gonna stop her. If she decides to leave you, she gonna leave you. A prenup ain't gonna stop her. And if the prenup is the reason why she didn't leave, then to me that goes back to the beginning of this, proving the point that she only there for the money. Because if she's not happy and y'all not happy together, why would you want her to stay in a situation she's not happy in just because you got this piece of paper over her head? Anyway, I call bullshit. But that's what it was. And of course Marie ate it up. Well, why didn't you tell me that? If you had just said it like that, I mean, if you had worded it like that, then I would have understood. I mean, I would have understood. Child. Then she was like, okay, well, we have to get it. And of course, he miraculously has the prenup. Child. Anyway, y'all let me know what y'all think. We'll drop it in the comments. Peace.